Hello, my name is David Swigert with Kentucky Safe, and today we're giving you an electrical hazard alert update for the construction industry. We will be discussing the reason for the update, some hazard awareness and recognition issues, and recommendations for those hazards. As with all of our classes and webinars, we have a disclaimer that basically says that none of our classes will qualify you as a competent or qualified person. Nationally, electrocution is one of the construction's fatal four and accounted for 8.5% of the industry's 1,008 fatalities in 2018. In Kentucky, 64 workers died by electrocution from the year 2000 to 2019. This accounted for 3.2% of all work related fatalities in the Commonwealth during that time. 39% of those deaths occurred in the construction industry, which was 64 deaths during that time. Many of these fatalities were preventable if the hazards had been identified and the proper precautions had taken place. There are many electrical hazards to be aware of on a construction site, and recognition and awareness of those hazards is crucial to maintaining a safe work site. Here's a list of some of the most common electrical hazards that are found on a construction site area: improper grounding, inadequate wiring, exposed electrical parts, damaged tools and equipment, including insulation, overloaded circuits, wet conditions, and overhead and underground power lines. Improper grounding may include a missing ground prong or grounding conductors that are improperly connected. Inadequate wiring. There's different types of wiring that have different electrical current ratings. When a conductor is too small to carry the current, a hazard may exist. If an extension cord is used for power tools, ensure that it is properly rated. Exposed electrical parts may include wires and terminals from inadequate guarding or unused openings that have not been closed. This may include improper lockout tagout procedures that did not sufficiently de energize equipment. Also, be aware that on construction sites, temporary lighting must be properly guarded and protected to avoid contact with broken bulbs and avoid potential shocks. Damaged electrical tools will increase the risk of a shock or electrocution. Adequate insulation will prevent conductors from contacting each other or you. Overloaded circuits. Overloaded electrical circuits are not only potential fire hazards, but may also lead to shock or electrocution if proper grounding is not found. Working in wet conditions. Working with electrical equipment in wet conditions increases the potential for electric shock or electrocution. Contact with overhead and underground power lines is one of the leading causes of death from electrocution during construction. Electrical shocks and electrocutions occur when physical barriers are not in place to prevent contact with the wires and the site has not been properly surveyed. Now for some recommendations. Here's some recommendations for electrical hazards on the construction site. A job hazard analysis should be conducted prior to beginning work at a new or changing work site. Many times, conditions are continually changing on a construction site, along with the introduction of new hazards. Ensure that all employees are trained on proper lockout tagout procedures to ensure the equipment is de energized. Ensure that all electrical equipment is properly grounded, including checking the ground prong on electrical cords. Inspect tools and electrical cords before use to ensure that they are in good repair. If you find damaged tools or electrical cords, remove them immediately from service. Personally disconnect the plug from an electrical outlet prior to inspecting or repairing any power tool. Double insulated tools are labeled and should be used whenever possible. Utilize ground fault circuit interrupters, GFCIs, on construction sites to reduce electrical hazards on construction sites. Power strips and surge protectors should not be used on a construction site. Locate all overhead and underground power lines in order to prevent accidental contact. If unable to keep a safe distance, contact the electrical company to discuss de energizing the lines. And that concludes our electrical hazard alert. Thank you for viewing this short webinar series.